Hello! Merry Christmas! It's almost over this year. This year is almost over. It has been a very challenging year in many ways, and I hope that you have all survived and possibly even thrived. And if not, hopefully this little video will bring you some Christmas cheer, or just cheer in general, because it's a fountain pen video. And I'm Aziza. I am here as Gourmet Pens. Welcome. Okay, we have some pens today. Now, the pens are interesting because what I will tell you is this. I generally I'm not huge on pocket pens. And the reason for that is not because they're not cute, because I do love cute pens. It's because the nibs are usually just like meh for my writing styles, for the ways that I like to write. And that's just been the case. So I have like one or two, and that's it, because, the nibs are just like, that's the nib, it works, I have that nib. But when I was at the Baltimore Pen Show, March of 2020, which literally feels like eons ago, I had the very fortunate chance to pick up a pocket pen from Schon Dsgn that was right up my alley. So here's one of them. This is the one that I picked up. But here's two more of them. Now, let me tell you why this is the pen that I love. I'm going to give you some of its cute qualities and overall factors that makes it very desirable. Number one, it is called a Pocket 6 fountain pen. And the reason for that is it takes number 6 nibs. Thank you, Ian! If I could sing, I would sing hallelujah, but I can't, so I'm not going to. And that's the number one reason that these pens are fantastic. Number two, not only do they take number 6 nibs, you can get a Bach or a Jovo section. Thank you, Ian. Okay, next up, there are candy colors, funky colors. There are different materials. You got brass, you got copper. There's different sections. There's different details. They're robust. They're hardy. They're fun, interesting patterns. They are made by Ian in Philly, and now more than ever, we got to support our small business people, especially those that are doing things for the fountain pen world that we love so much, or at least, I love so much. They are pocket size, perfect everyday carry, and they're easy to clean, easy to maintain, quite comfortable. So there's a whole lot of good stuff going on here, and I am really excited to get down to the details of the pens, show you the pens, and I think you'll really enjoy them. So let's get cracking. Sorry. We're going to do the same thing as last time. We're going to watch the videos together, and then I can kind of give my commentary and thoughts, and you can look at my sweet face. Okay, first up, we're going to look at packaging. Ian has selected this plastic clip case. Very simple, has a foam bed. Your pen fits in there perfectly. It's got the little business card. It's really good. If you flip it over, there's the little instructions on how to put the pen together. It's very simple, reusable, which is great. I don't really care for foam, and that's about it because I'm just a weird eco person in some ways. But it's a robust little case, nothing wrong with it. Next up, we are looking at the pens in terms of their measurements. We're looking at capped, we're looking at uncapped, and we're looking at posted. They are coming in at 5.2 inches when they're posted. They're a normal size pen. It's a full size pen, but it depends on your hand size, what you want to use. I find them super comfortable in hand, very easy to just grab and go. I find the sections really comfortable, especially the curved section. So that's fantastic. The aluminum is the lightest. That's the one we have started with. It is well balanced. It's light in hand. The brass, well balanced, and the copper is well balanced. They're just two heavier metals. So if you are looking for something like solid, robust, you can go for the brass or the copper. If you want something light and a little more just delicate in your hand, the aluminum is fantastic. The aluminum has like the super fun multicolors. As you can see, I'm giving you a couple options of fun multicolors. And I really like the Lisa Frank Magenta Yellow, and I really like the Car Wash Soap. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, please let me know, because I feel like I'm the only one who knows this. It's super quick and easy to cap and uncap these pens, and they post really well, like the threads catch really well. What I actually do is I take it and I just do one quick back thread, and then I put it on. You know what I mean? Like to catch the threads, and then it's like quick and easy. I've never cross-threaded. It's really nice and simple to do that. And there's an O-ring, which makes it nice to close, very satisfying. The faceted brass is like absolutely stunning. I think it's fantastic. It just glitters. This pen glitters like gold, and it's stunning. Now, of course, brass and copper will patina, and so they will darken over time, and at some point they'll stabilize and they'll stop. You can always polish them up. There are ways to do that. I did find that the copper and the brass do not patina as fast as other pens that I have used of metal, and I like that. I actually also found they're not as stinky as other copper and brass pens. I don't know why. I really am glad about that, because that's one thing I usually don't like about brass and copper, even though I love how they look. I love how like they have such a good hand feel, but I hate the smell. So this is fantastic. They're not super stinky. If you like really smell it, you'll still smell it, but that's okay. You don't have to smell it. Possibly one of the coolest things here is that Ian has a rollerball section for the pens, and it takes a just standard international short cartridge. And it's really nice. Like, it writes really well. So you get to use your fountain pen ink with the rollerball. I know. It makes it a little less horrendous when you tell people in the fountain pen community that you're using a rollerball, but it's okay because it takes fountain pen ink. Oh, so beautiful. I can just like feel it rolling across the page. Oh, so nice. Then I have done the brass. So this is where I kind of show you, like, if you dip it into your section and you, into your ink, and you ink it with a converter, which I'll tell you about, you're going to have to clean off that little ridge. Now, these are Jowo nibs, so it's kind of like a standard Jowo nib performance or Bach performance. They're going to work. These are fine nibs. They have, all of them worked without issue. Like, I personally wouldn't pick a fine nib, but like, there's nothing wrong with them. They work. There's no hip skipping, hard starts, just no problems. Quite wet, which I actually really liked. So that is the brass. Now for the best part. This is my baby right here. This is the one I bought in Baltimore. I purchased a box section and a Jowo section, and I was able to pick my section. Oh, so pretty. Now, if you want a matching section to your pen, it has to be made at the same time as the pen. Otherwise, you are going to get something that is just like similar. And that makes sense, right? It's done in a whole process. I don't mind the slightly different section that I've got on mine. And if you are looking really closely, you might not even be looking at the section because you're looking at the nib. The nib is a Bach nib. It is a two-slit, 3-tine music nib. It is gold. It is actually rose gold. And it is unreal. This setup is so ridiculously amazing. And since I bought this pen, it has been inked with this particular nib and just like random inks that I'm using the entire time. So it's been since like March this pen has been inked. And because of the O-ring, It seals super well. Fantastic, super enjoyable setup. I'm really happy with my Lisa Frank Magenta Yellow with my sweet music nib. Ironically, it's a very wet nib with a very small ink capacity, but I like that. It means I get to change very often. So what I'm showing you now is the converter. So a converter that can fit, and probably the only one I've found so far, is the awful Quebeco squeeze converter. And I say awful because it's tiny. But for me on the go, I would actually rather use this converter and just refill it just by squeezing it than popping in a different cartridge. I'm just not a cartridge person, which is very weird. I just don't like them. I think possibly because I like to play with my inks as well. And with a cartridge, it's really hard to like do stuff with them. Whereas with a converter, you can like flick it or squeeze it and stuff like that. Have the mix and match. Amazing. So if you want, you can take a copper section and a brass cap, or an aluminum cap and a copper section and a brass body. You can just mess around with them, you know, like you can have a lot of fun. I think it's really cute, and I actually think this can make a really cool gift if you're looking for like someone, you know, they have like the anniversary gifts that are like paper, and surely there's a metal one, right? So anyway, you could do something like that. Like if you guys have a wedding color theme, really cute ideas. And like I'm looking at it on the screen, I'm like, oh, these are so pretty. And they are really pretty. I love the number 6 nibs on here. For some reason, a number 5 nib just always looks too small to me on a pocket pen. So the number 6 nib just kind of makes it shine, and I really like it. So obviously I'm biased in that I love these pens, but the reason is because I actually bought one long before I received these on loan to review. And the thing is, I'm actually keeping this one. But there are a couple things that you might want to consider. One of them, they're round, they will roll, and although they're robust, you know, they might roll off your desk, and if you're a student, it might roll down your entire theater and you'll lose it forever. If that's the case and you're worried about rolling, you can just stick it in a sleeve. In fact, Rickshaw actually makes a sleeve specifically for these pens. It's like really cute and small with the best plush on the planet. So you could check those out. If you're not into cartridges, it could be a little tricky. I found a workaround that works just fine for me, and I'm actually really happy with it. So I'm really picky about it, and I'm really happy. So you can get the same converter, and you can be happy too. Next up, if you're using that extended ridge, the section, as I said, you got to make sure to clean the inside if you're inking with that converter. That is super minor. I wouldn't even call that a downside. That's just a thing, right? Lastly, there's the smell. So the brass and copper, they are not nearly as stank as other brass and copper pens I've used. They have a very metallic smell. It is there, but it's not super strong. My hands don't smell like metal, which is usually the thing that like, maybe it's because it smells like blood. I don't know. So there's that. If you're going to sniff the pens, you'll smell it. If you're going to sniff your hands, you'll be okay. Yay! You shouldn't be sniffing your hands now anyway because of COVID. If we want to talk about price range, we are looking at the aluminum. It starts at $135. The brass and copper goes up to $282. The reason, you know, I mean, it's a different material. Like, look at this. This is immaculately done. These facets are killer. It looks like the affordable, sensible version of the Mont Blanc Leo Tolstoy with the hammered metal things. It's just, I just love it. It is such a cool pattern, and it's so nifty. So anyway, the aluminum is totally in the custom pen range, right? Like the starting point of like your custom pens, or, you know, something like a Franklin Christoph or an Edison, actually possibly even less. And so I think it's a perfectly fair price. The brass and copper, a bit of a splurge, but you're basically going to have any of these pens. You're going to have a pen that's going to outlive you. So that's pretty great. You don't have to worry about parts cracking and stuff. If anything, you're going to lose it. And if you're on social media, give Ian a follow. He is an absolutely delightful human being, and once pen shows come back, you know, you'll have to hit up a pen show and check out his table. The colors are unreal and so fun, and I'm really happy with mine. So that's everything. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me throughout the year, and let's hope 2021 kicks ass, but like in a good way. And in the meantime, stay very safe. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thank you. So, you know the deal, like, subscribe, blah, 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 whatever you want. You don't even have to. And if you enjoy what I'm doing, please check me out on Patreon. And otherwise, you can find the rest of me on the next page.